German luxury automarque Audi is rumored to be on the cusp of selling a stake in its F1 team to Qatar, with an announcement expected ahead of the nation's home race at the Lusail International Circuit. It's understood that Audi's spending on F1 is unsustainable in light of an economic crisis at parent company Volkswagen AG, potentially involving plant closures and the loss of 30,000 jobs. Audi officially remains committed to its project, but it's reported that Qatar, which has a 17% stake in Volkswagen AG, would spend $1 billion on the squad with the right conditions. Franco Colapinto's F1 options for 2025 are heating up, despite the seat at Sauber gone, with alleged interest from both Red Bull and Alpine. Red Bull have been struggling all season with Sergio Perez, whose last podium came in April's Chinese Grand Prix, with rumors that he will be replaced from 2025, despite a contract through to 2026. Either by RB's Liam Lawson or Colapinto, with a reported $20 million fee for him to be released by Williams. Franco definitely has got the qualities to be a potential star of the future, Horner said. While over at Alpine, it's understood the squad is interested in a loan deal for the Argentine, meaning that Australian Jack Doohan's F1 career could be over before it's begun. Austrian Toto Wolff has revealed that he knew Lewis Hamilton had signed a deal with Ferrari 2 weeks before he was told, with the Mercedes boss tipped off by Carlos Sainz Sr. Hamilton's Ferrari announcement was a bombshell in early January, with the Brit deciding to turn his back on Mercedes. But Wolff says it wasn't a shock when the Brit finally told him. Old man Sainz called me and said, "This is what's happening," Wolff said. "And then there were a few drivers' dads who rang me up that didn't before. So I thought, okay, there's something going on there." Alpine boss Oliver Oakes says he's confident the squad can secure more surprise results in the final 3 races, following its shock double podium in Brazil, Enstone's first since 2013. Alpine had not been higher than 9th in 2024's first 20 races before rain in Sao Paulo leveled the playing field, put both cars onto the podium, and lifted the squad to 6th in the constructors' standings for a potential $30 million jump in prize money. But Oakes, in a chat with the sport's official podcast F1 Nation, says that the team could deliver more in the sport's final triple header for 2024.
Definitely, we feel confident. I sort of pause there because it is tough, and you can see weekend to weekend the swings in performance and teams, and I think really we just have to be humble and take it one race at a time. But yeah, I do feel confident.
The Grand Prix Drivers Association, or GPDA, has sought to end the FIA's war on swearing, with a statement on Instagram that urged its president Mohammed Ben Sulayem to also consider his own tone and language. Drivers are watching their words in press conferences after Red Bull's Max Verstappen was given public service work for swearing in Singapore, while Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was handed a €10,000 fine, almost $11,000, with half of it suspended for swearing in Mexico. The GPDA's statement addressed the drivers' needs to not be treated like naughty children by the governing body and requested the FIA president provide financial transparency and direct open dialogue. Our members are adults. They do not need to be given instructions via the media about matters as trivial as the wearing of jewelry and underpants, the statement said. Williams team boss James Vowles says that he's expecting the squad to be competitive in Las Vegas, despite enduring the most brutal weekend he can remember in Sao Paulo. Williams dropped to 9th in the constructors' standings following Brazil, where it suffered 3 major accidents between qualifying and the race, and its rival Alpine scored a double podium. But while the British squad rebuilds its cars ahead of 2024's final races, Val says Las Vegas could be a great event for Grove.
Vegas, I have high hopes for. We were fast there last year, and I'm confident we have a car that can work well in those conditions. So we are going to do our absolute utmost to get 2 cars to the best specification they can be, with sufficient spares around us to make that happen. What that looks like is difficult to predict at the moment. We're still getting the items back from Brazil and determining what we have to do in terms of construct, build, in order to get ourselves to the best place possible.
Mercedes says it's using 2024's final 3 races to determine the gap it needs to close to return to the front with next year's W16, despite hopes that it can return to the podium again. The Silver Arrows have been unable to replicate their pre-summer break form when it won 3 of the 4 races immediately before it, including Belgium. But the focus is now firmly on 2025. With the team desperate to solve the current car's enduring weakness, handling interconnected slow-speed corners.
We're going to be looking at all the remaining tracks to, again, assess performance and just confirm what we understand about this car and whether the changes we're hoping to make for next year are going to improve those areas. Now, Vegas has a lot of straight line and low-speed corners. Qatar is a faster track, and then finishing in Abu Dhabi, which is a mix of everything. It'll give us a good read on how we're performing and who is the benchmark.
Ex-F1 driver Christian Fittipaldi says the Interlagos grandstands emptied when the late great Ayrton Senna spun out of the 1994 Brazilian Grand Prix. Such was their one-eyed support. Brazil hasn't had a full-time driver on the Formula One grid since Felipe Massa in 2017, but still has record attendances, including 2024's edition, which marked 30 years since Senna's passing. But Fittipaldi told F1's official podcast Beyond the Grid that things were very different when Senna was racing.
It was challenging Michael. He was only a couple of seconds behind. He spun the car. He was out of the race. The minute or the second he was out of the race, there was a helicopter shooting the race. And I would say probably half of the grandstands walked away, as if they didn't care about the rest of the Formula One race.
Austria's Red Bull Ring was the place to be earlier this month, as Finland's 2-time World Rally champion Kalle Rovanperä swapped stage for circuit for a chance to sample F1. Rovanperä's experience was done right, with a seat fitting and time in the simulator before some junior Formula single-seater experience. The Finn was then strapped into the brand's 2012 title-winning RB8 for a taste of a V8 Engineer top team car, which he pushed hard around the picturesque 10-turn, 4.318-kilometer lap. One that he already knew well, given his racing experience earlier this year in the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux Series. But Rovanperä took it all in his stride, despite the performance jump.
Definitely on an F1 car you have so much downforce that, physically it's very different than in Rally 1 car. You have a lot more G-forces and stuff, but it was pretty much how I expected it. Not too bad, to be honest, but of course, if you do a long race, you definitely feel the G-forces.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.